right. So we are going to go live. I don't have a lot of battery life, so I'm not going to be able to stay live long. But if you want to join me, I'm actually wanting to talk a little bit about the Atlas update because there are a lot of people freaking out in the forums. And I just feel like this is something that needs to be addressed. I don't want people to go into bed all upset and angry because, well, there's no reason to be angry. A lot of these things that people are getting upset about are probably misunderstandings when they read this Atlas information. So let's go over exactly what's going on with this update. Now, I know right now I don't have anybody with me, but this is something that everybody's going to be able to go back and watch. Hey, Laura. Hey, Odin. Did you get Swan? Yes, I did get Swan. So anyways, I want to go over this whole update situation with Atlas, which is taking freaking forever. But there's a lot of people freaking out because of some of these updates. And I think it's because people are misunderstanding. So if you know anybody that freaks out about some of these misunderstandings, be sure to share this video with them. Hey, Electro. So the first thing I'm seeing is everybody freaking out because they think everyone on their team is going to have access to, take whatever they want from your banks. Now, this is a misread. If you actually go through and read this, it says players can access all gold, food, and lumber from any of their team's castles. Looking at any castle's banks tab will show the total balances each resource owned by the team in whole. Hey, Steve. So a lot of people have read this and they think this means that they're going to be able to, of course, go in and, take this gold and send it to themselves. But if you keep on reading, this just means access, meaning like you're going to be able to see how much gold you have. You're going to be able to see, those types of things. It doesn't mean they're going to be able to actually transfer this to themselves, okay? Now, it says any governor, banker, officer, or at any castle can access the team's bank and distribute funds. So there's a bunch of people, like I said, flipping out, freaking out. Oh, no. Now everybody's going to be able to get whatever they want. Hey, Top Dog. But that's not the case. Please calm down and let your people know. Calm down. Not your people, but anybody you might know that freaks out that that's not what this means. It's still going to be officers, your leader, any bankers and governors will be the only ones that can actually distribute. So, like I said, if you see somebody freaking out. Now, the 10% situation, but you can see that stuff already. There is a difference. There's a huge difference. Okay, so right now, that's currently how it is. So, for example, if you go in and you take out gold, you have to be one of those things currently. You have to either be an officer, you have to be a leader, you have to be a banker or the governor. Do you see what I'm saying? So all those things are what we currently have in process. What they're saying is players can access it and see it. You're going to be able to put gold in. You're going to be able to see the gold. You're going to be able to see the ledger. So basically what they're saying is in the first statement, no matter what you go to, what castle, it will all be the same bank because it's going to be one large, centralized bank. So basically it's saying access. Doesn't mean you're going to be able to actually transfer the gold. Now it says any banker, governor, or officer can use the bank's resources to donate and upgrade and transfer funds. So that part is not changing. That part is staying the same. So Joe Schmo, level 42, is not going to be able to go in and just take that stuff out, okay? Now, conquering castles, the 10%. There's a bunch of people I'm noticing freaking out about this as well. Now, here's the thing. Before, whenever someone would conquer your castle, 100% of whatever would be held in that castle would go into the wind. It would go into the Never Never Land of Atlas. So, wait, what? You can still see that regardless of... No, I know. Meaning, I think people are reading too far into it. It's not saying that... It's saying you can access all gold, food, and lumber, but I don't think they meant it like... I don't think they mean it like you can transfer resources. Because like I said, if you go to the next tab any governor, banker, or officer. It didn't say any player is going to be able to actually distribute funds. See? Any governor, banker, officer at any castle can access the team's bank and distribute funds to any player as they see fit. Why would they put this here if anybody could grab what they wanted? They're not adding it. All they're doing is creating a large system so that you don't have to go to, like, there's people with 20 castles. They don't have to go clear to the bottom to see what's going on down there. Come clear to the top and access what's up here. So they're just reiterating that you're going to be able to go into any castle and see it. Because, okay, so imagine for a moment you had 5 debit cards, and those 5 debit cards are your 5 castles, okay, guys? Think about that for a moment. You got 5 debit cards, but they're all different accounts. You're going to merge all of those accounts onto one debit card. So whenever you go to the ATM and you put it in, everything on all of those accounts will be accessed by one card. But let's say they let you keep all of your cards. You can access each and every single bit of it with each and every one of those cards. Do you see what I'm saying? It's cool. It's cool. So, yeah. So it doesn't mean that they're going to have access. You'll see. Once this goes up, Joe Schmo level 20 at the bottom is not going to be able to access anything. I mean, they'll be able to access it, but in the sense of being able to see the ledger, see where it's going, donate resources to it. But they're not going to be able to change the tax, send out the resources, and so forth. I promise you that. Now, the next thing, the conquering situation. There's a bunch of people very upset about the 10% thing. Again, right now, if someone conquers your castle, they take your castle and all the resources in it go literally to Never Never Land of Atlas. Nobody gets anything. And if you think about that, that really sucks. I mean, that really sucks. It's like, okay, some people are paying for stuff and it just goes bye-byes. Anyways, then yeah, I guess you're screwed. If you don't have any debit card, it means you don't have a bank. Oh, but that is one thing. That's the other thing that's really great about this. Because there's centralized banking, even if you don't own a castle and let's say your home castle is in free zone, you will now have an ability to have gold. We'll go over that in a minute. So this is actually helping everyone. So now you're always going to have access to gold. But anyways, back to the 10%. So if someone takes your castle, they're taking 10%. Rather than it going to literally no one. Now, that also means if you send your castle to somebody else, someone in your team, it's going to be, or I mean, like say within your ally, that's going to go to them as well. All right, so let's go down to that thing I was telling you about. If you notice here, a level 0 bank allows you to hold a total of 15 million gold, 500,000 lumber, and 500,000 food. That is awesome. And the reason this is awesome, guys, is let's say you're platinum and you just got here. Let's say you're platinum and you didn't get any castles recently in the last upgrade, the first time we got brought in. This is going to give you the ability to save back 15 million gold. This way, when you do take a castle, you have some gold saved up to be able to start your infrastructure building. Because it's very important that you build, for example, that, the fort, so that you can put down your shield. So these things are actually going to help the players, especially lower level players. Or not lower level, but lower league teams, I should say. So that's why they broke this down. Centralized bank transfers and so forth. Now, the one thing that I do see in here, this is an issue, I think that I'd like to speak up about is the castle max. I mean, it doesn't add up, like 20 million, and level 2 is 25 million, level 3, 30 million, level 4, and so forth and so forth. You get to level 12, it says 75 million gold. Level 24 is 135 million gold. Well, if you put level 12 and a level 12 together, that's 2 level 12 castles. It shouldn't only equal 135 million. It should equal 150 million. I mean, it's simple math. So that's, 20 million less. I don't understand that concept. That's got me a little bit mind-boggled. I don't know if that has something to do with the 10 million thing. From what I understand, though, it's possible. I don't know for sure, but I've heard rumor. I don't know this for sure, guys. Please don't quote this. That if they only take 10%, then the rest of what you can't hold would be then in your infrastructure that you're going to be able to access later on when you bring up your infrastructure. So, but it doesn't say it here. This is just rumor. Anyways, so with that being said, and then same thing with your simultaneous transfers. So used to be one of those things where if you had 3 castles, let's say, you could do 3 transfers from each of those castles, right? And that would give you the ability to send out 9 items. Now you're going to be able to send out 12. So the first one here, if you have 0 banks, so 0 castles, let's say you're on a free land, that means you're going to be considered a level 0 bank. You're going to be able to send out 3 transfers to your teammates. So if you have 1 castle, you're going to be able to put out 6 and so forth. So I'm assuring you that a lot of the stuff that's being read into here is not as crazy as it is. And I would love to investigate it. But I want to see what the ultimate change is, and I want to see it actually come out so I can actually look at it. And I know that, like, for example, one player that actually watches the channel here messaged me and they're freaking out because their rent is due. And they can't even get into the thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's even worse than all of our hats going to waste. I mean, I literally think there should be a pause on the clock. But whatever. So with that being said, this is not as bad as it seems. The gold is not the thing we should be worried about. The gold is not necessarily what's going to get you attacked. It's going to be things like the season coming up, the PvP. Ghost Rider says, it is in the higher levels. I don't even know what I said that made you say that, because I know I'm ahead on the live stream. So yes, if you clarify. But yeah, PG Math. Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand how 12 million plus, or 12.5 million plus 12.5 million, for example, equals 24.5 million. That should be 25 million. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, guys, so if you see anybody freaking out, please let them know that it has nothing to do with players taking whatever they want. It's not going to work like that. It's still, I know it sounds that way, but all it's saying is anybody can access the gold and things and see it, not necessarily take it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the 10% would be a lot bigger deal, because if you think about it, if you're, and my other question is, if they take 10%, is it 10% of what that castle is worth? Because they haven't talked about that. Is it 10% of what that infrastructure is worth, or 10% of all of your gold? You know, they really don't clarify that. Let's look at that real quick. All right, so let's see. Central bank, transfers, storage capacity, conquering. All right, the conquering team steals from the conquering gold storage when the castle is conquered. 10% of the conquered team's stored gold amount at the time the conquest is taken and given to the conquered team's bank. This percentage is not affected by the castle level, infrastructure levels, or storage capacity. It is simply 10% of whatever's sitting. Okay, so there you go. So where before you could, let's say they were attacking you, you couldn't transfer out your resources. A lot of people would just lose everything. So this is going to allow them to, not worry too much about it, I guess. One of my questions is, here's a few of my concerns, I should say. So a lot of times whenever someone would sit on your bank or on your castle, you couldn't transfer your stuff. You couldn't send it to a player, or you couldn't send it into the bank. So if someone sits on your stuff, is that going to halt it for the entire system? Like, one castle has one person on it and all of a sudden you're shut down for God knows how long. That's a worry thing. That's very worrisome to me. So I think that, again, this is one of those things where we've asked for something and in turn, it may be biting us in the boot. Just saying. Because I don't think that's going to be so great. We shall see. We'll see how the rules play out. I think that once this is finished, we'll be able to go check out the website that the PG guy does. and we should be good. All right, guys, I'm headed out, and I will talk to you later.